from the Discuss Education team, and I will be your host for the event. So before we begin, I thank all of you who made it here today. Thank you so much. And I would love to give you an introduction to Discuss Education and Linways. So Discuss Education is an initiative by Linways, and Linways is an organization that believes education is the most powerful life changer, and it makes a person self-reliant, transform societies, and build the nation. And we are driven by a great vision to empower every educator with the right technology to accelerate learning. So we started Discuss Education with the idea to provide a platform for educators where they can come together, learn from each other, and inspire each other. And we have conducted interviews with eminent personalities of the education world and organized physical as well as virtual events for educators, all with an objective to support education. Our previous event, Discuss Education on the Curriculum and Credit Framework for UG programs, was the first in the nation regarding that topic. And today we are organizing Discuss Education on the implementation of ABC. And I welcome everyone who joined the meeting in the name of Linways and Discuss Education. So Linways is an organization that has been enabling institutions to adapt to the ever-changing education sector with technology. And Academic Bank of Credit being a hot topic in the industry, we wanted to help institutions adapt to it without any hassle. So apart from our product, we wanted to give the educators more insight about the topic. So that is the reason we are conducting this event today. So without much delay, let us begin the session. And we have with us an eminent academician, Dr. Beena, who can give us deep insight about ABC. So before we start, I'll give an introduction to Dr. Beena ma'am. Dr. Beena G is the controller of examinations at Reva University in Bangalore. Reva University is a private university in the state of Karnataka. And Reva Group of Educational Institutions was established in 2002, and managed by Rukmini Educational Charitable Trust. And Dr. Beena started her career at the Reva Group of Institutions as the head of the Department of English at the Reva Institution of Science and Management. Then she was the principal at Reva Institute of Science and Management, and later was designated as Associate Dean for the School of Arts and Humanities and the School of Applied Sciences at Reva University. It is my immense pleasure to welcome Beena ma'am to the session.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for making it here today. So let us start, ma'am. You can, the stage is all yours, ma'am.
Yeah, I'll share my screen and then start.
Okay.
Are you able to see the slide?
Yes, ma'am. It's visible.
Okay. Yeah. Good afternoon to everyone here. And thank you for this initiative because like others said, the entire thing is very new with the coming of NEP and the subsequent changes, that have been brought into the landscape of education. There has been it is a kind of a revolutionized, landscape of education that we are seeing. And the very understanding of higher education in our country seems to be undergoing a change. So among the, several fascinating aspects as a part of NEP are the fact that the learner, like in the parlance of business, it is often said that consumer is the king. Today in the landscape of education, I think it is the learner, it is learner centric, and I can very safely say that learner is the king. The kind of initiatives that have been brought in also very clearly indicate to the learner centric approach in education, and also the democratization of the landscape of education. So the learning paths are providing a huge plethora of choices for the learners, not only in terms of choices of courses, choices of institutions, choices of programs, But even something that that is very heartening to all of us as educators, as teachers primarily, is the fact that the learner also will be given a choice of the pace of learning, as far as ABC is concerned. So ABC, Academic Bank of Credit, is one of the outcomes of NEP. And this will pave way for the customized learning paths, wherein a learner will have plenty of choices in terms of courses, in terms of the higher education institutions, and also a choice in terms of choosing his or her pace of learning. This eventually this eventually will pave way to ensure that the issue of dropouts in higher education would be addressed, wherein the concept of lifelong learning would help the learners to continue their learning, despite breaks that they may have to take or they would have taken. So, having said that, Academic Bank of Credit or implementation of ABC is something that all of us, are going to test for the first time. And it is on platforms like this that each of us can actually exchange, discuss about these new initiatives, and try to find purpose in terms of the changes that have been brought in. So very quickly, I will, I think I need to mention this, that I have been unwell. I have a severe bout of viral fever, and you will have to manage with the croaking voice and intermediate coughs for some time. Having said that, I will quickly go through the slides. Now, any talk of NEP, any talk of ABC, cannot be completed or cannot be, initiated without mentioning DigiLocker and NAD. DigiLocker, is the initial part of this revolution in terms of the changes that have come in. And DigiLocker and National Academic Depository are the two founding bases for us to talk about ABC. So I will quickly start with just an overview of DigiLocker and NAD, and then move on to ABC. Now, DigiLocker, we all understand, but then we all know this and we all understand. But then, since there is a continuity with DigiLocker and ABC, so I will be taking you through this. This is this is an online service provider, which is an initiative of the National E-Governance Division and the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. The fundamental purpose of DigiLocker is to provide access to authentic digital documents of a particular citizen. Now, this is a digital document wallet wherein all kinds of documents, can be fetched through DigiLocker. In terms of education certificates, it could be PAN cards, it could be, driving licenses, Aadhaar, vehicle ownership, and so on. How does it affect education is that henceforth, for even the admission processes, all the previous qualifying certificates needs to be produced through DigiLocker. And one fundamental advantage with DigiLocker is that it is authenticated by itself, in the sense that the very portal makes sure that it is an authentic, platform. Now, National Academic Depository or NAD is provided by DigiLocker as a service. Now, this is again a government initiative, part of the digital initiatives of the Government of India, and facilitated by the MHRD. And it holds the national database of all the academic awards issued by academic institutions. Now, the fundamental difference between DigiLocker and NAD is that DigiLocker can have multiple certificates, right from the birth certificate till the death certificate, and the intermediate certificates that all of us need to have or have as citizens. While National Academic Depository, as the name suggests, is a storehouse of all the academic awards and degrees only. It holds academic certificates be it diploma, be it degree, which are relevant to the sphere of academics. So that is the fundamental difference between DigiLocker and the NAD. This is a 24/7 online storehouse and storehouse of all the digitized diplomas, degrees, and mark sheets, grade cards, and such certificates. And this is lodged by academic institutions or boards or eligibility assessment bodies, and ensures very, very easy access to and retrieval of academic awards. Now, this is a kind of a revolution in the process of document verification, academic document verification, whether it is um, um, you know whether it is in terms of an academic document verification by academic institutions, or in terms of the educational portals for higher education, or in terms of a job verification. Just a minute. Um, yeah. The online mode of online mode and digital format of academic awards are presented there, and students can have access. In the sense, students are allowed to retrieve their lodged academic certificates and awards at any time. Like I said, this can be for the purpose of going up in terms of the education sphere, or it can be for verification in terms of the job verification. So NAD basically has students and other award holders who are the stakeholders. And verification of the authenticity of any academic awards lodged here is done with prior approval of the students. Now, this is very important for academic institutions, boards, and assessment bodies, and other verifying entities. Like I said, it could be UGC, Ministry of Education, or employer companies or banks. Any kind of verification can happen through this. DigiLocker needs to be created for NAD implementation. Any kind of NAD related activities can be initiated only by a DigiLocker. So the creation of DigiLocker is very important for the NAD portal for academic institutions, and we all understand that DigiLocker is also created for individual purposes. Each of us has our documents in terms of the DigiLocker. We need to, as academic institutions, facilitate students' creation of DigiLockers, because these are important for us to go forward in terms of NAD and ABC implementation. We also need to provide the tech support and the mechanism for the creation of DigiLockers, because everything rests on the creation of DigiLockers. Like I mentioned earlier, DigiLocker, fetches multiple documents, and the difference between DigiLocker and NAD is DigiLocker fetches multiple documents, right from, like I mentioned earlier, birth certificate till the death certificate and the intermediary certificates, while NAD takes care only of the academic documents. The other difference is that DigiLocker is a via media only. DigiLocker is an instrument only. It only fetches. It does not store. It is not a storage wallet. It fetches whatever are the required documents, while NAD stores data, and the interaction with NAD can be done only through academic documents for academic institutions only. The interaction between NAD and academic institutions helps student get his ABC. NAD is not directly accessible by the student. NAD can be accessed only by academic institutions.
Hello, ma'am.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you are.
Yeah. Sorry, there's some issue with the slide movement. Okay. Now, role of academic institutions in all this. We need to enable that DigiLockers are created. We need to register as academic institutions in the NAD portal and upload all the data and the academic records so far in the prescribed format. Now, there is a choice that is given to academic institutions in terms of choosing the certificate templates from among the ones that are that are given on the NAD portal. And I'm sure by now all of us as academic institutions would have uploaded all our data on NAD. And going further, all the results of academic institutions can be published, on the NAD portal directly. And the responsibility for the accuracy of data lies with the academic institutions only. It does not lie with the NAD portal, because basically when we are looking at data, remember that these are data that we can authenticate because they are given by the academic institutions. Now, having spoken about DigiLocker and NAD, this will lead us very logically, very organically into what is the topic of discussion today, the academic bank of credits. Now, academic bank of credits is has brought in several changes in terms of learner choices in the landscape of higher education, and this paves way, or this leads to uh, a huge amount of democratic choices for the learner in terms of in terms of the choices that he or she can make, in terms of choosing courses, in terms of choosing higher education institutions, and in terms of choosing his or her pace of learning. What is very important here is that this kind of breaks away the boundaries of the physical portals of the existence of higher educational institutions, because a learner is given the freedom to enroll in an academic institution and then being there or moving out of there. There is a mobility that is possible, that is given to a learner in terms of the choice of moving from one higher education institution to another, or gaining credits from another academic institution, higher education institution, being stationed in one higher education institution. The idea of credit accumulation that a learner is able to get, very important in terms of the initiatives that are brought in by NEP. And so when a learner is able to or allowed to gain credits, by enrolling for courses in higher education institutions apart from his, then there has to be a repository, there has to be a bank where the credits that a student earns from multiple institutions or even from a single institution can be pooled together, and at the end of the completion of the program, they need to be redeemed. The idea is that there is a space for all the credits to be transferred and stored, and once that is done, the student on the completion of the program can have the choice of getting his credits transferred and redeemed. Now, the vision of ABC is to create a national level facility to provide flexibility of curriculum and interdisciplinary or multidisciplinary academic mobility of students across higher education institutions with appropriate credit transfer mechanisms. Now, very importantly, this breaks the compartmentalization of disciplines, because a student can earn credits after completing courses of his or her choice across institutions. So this paves way for interdisciplinarity and multidisciplinarity in terms of the program or in terms of the courses. But very importantly, when we talk about academic institutions, more than one academic institutions that a student is able to get his credit from, then the question is, who would be the degree granting institution? And that also has been taken care of in terms of 50% courses to be done from one institution. Now, this encourages a student to learn the courses of his or her interest. And this is, a very learner-friendly teaching space, and enables a student to have several choices that is democratically given for a learner-centric education. And this also encourages interdisciplinarity and multidisciplinarity in terms of um, students' learning journey. Now, the functions of ABC are that it is basically a centralized repository, like a bank. It stores a student's academic credit till the completion of the course, and it provides a seamless possibility of mobility for a student. Um, Either between higher educations or within degree granting higher educations. Now, one aspect that we must understand here is that ABC, or Academic Bank of Credit, is not only for mobility or transfer of credits from one higher education institution to another. It is also important that from the batch 2021 onwards, from the new academic year that we are going to, look into, or that we are going to face shortly, even if it is our own, individual institutions, we must have the ABC and accumulate, all the credits earned by a student within the institution also. So the misconception that most of us had, including myself, that ABC is required importantly for transfer of credits from one institution to another is broken now, because ABC is also important for individual institutions where the student would enroll without transfer of credits from other institution also. So it's a formal system. It's a formal system of credit recognition. There are four aspects to it. One is credit recognition, one is credit accumulation, and after accumulating of credits, you also have credit transfers. And finally, after transfer of credit from other higher education institutions, on the completion of the program, the student will get his or her credit redemption. There is a credit redemption that happens, which indicates the end of that particular learner's journey for that particular program. Now, once the certificates and degrees are collected by students, all the credits are deleted from the accounts. Now, this enables students to open accounts and give multiple options of entry and exit during higher education. Now, one of the most important aspects of NEP is that the student can choose. There is a customized pace of learning for students, and a student is allowed to exit courses and also enter the entry options are there. So amidst this multiple options of multiple entry and exit during the journey of higher education for students, this accumulation of credits is very important, because even when a student has taken a break before his joining, rejoining or making his entry, the ABC is the storekeeper of all the credits so far earned by the student. So an ABC, an earned ABC is an authentic reference to check the credit record of any student at any given point of time. And we all understand that the duration or the time duration that is permitted for a student is 7 years. So for 7 years, the credits earned are to be kept in the ABC, which is an authentic platform. The academic bank is accountable for opening, closing, and validating the accounts of the student. Only institutions can upload credit certificates, not students. Students can have individual ABC ID numbers, but it is the institutions who can upload the certificates. Now, the question why ABC, like I said, the relevance of ABC is in terms of the learner centricity, wherein there is a greater flexibility and there is a possibility of customization of education from the learner's perspective. There is a greater amount of choice that a learner learner gets in terms of choosing courses that the learner would want to take it, and also choosing institutions that the learner would want to be a part of. So there is also a possibility of tailor-made degrees, by for the learner, where the learner makes a choice of specializations that interest him, or that he or she requires. Um, for example, this is something that we've always seen in the West, where there is a great democratic freedom for the learners to choose programs. For example, a learner under this can choose, say, a program in maths, a course in math. Then he can choose a related course in statistics, and if his institution or her institution does not, have the related course in, say, statistics, then the learner can take up that course in a different higher education institution and earn credits from there. And after having chosen math and a related stream of statistics, say a learner is very keen in understanding the mathematics or the grammar of Indian classical music, and the institution that he or she is a part of may not have classical music. So this gives the learner a choice to go to institution X, enroll in institution X, and earn credits in classical music. So this is something that takes care of the learner interest, and also the learner competency, and the learner choice. So in terms of putting together, customizing the courses that the learner wants to take, for a career choice, and for a choice in terms of his or her passion towards something, ABC is actually a blessing for them. The other important aspect of ABC is that the learner can choose the learner can choose his or her pace of learning, particularly with blended education having come in. And we all know the rate of dropouts in the sphere of higher education. The blended education, blended learning, actually gives a platform for the work, and learn package to come to happen together. So a learner need not discontinue for varied reasons. If the learner is forced to take up a job, then this ABC and the related NEP ensures that the learner continues his journey of learning without taking a break from education. In terms of blended learning, it helps because the learning can continue on a virtual platform, while he or she can continue with work. And this ensures that the student dropout is lowered, and there is an enhanced chance of employability. Uh, Employability does not restrict the learning process here. So earlier in the conventional system, what used to happen was either you have a job, or you have you continue with your education. We've had several students from very unfortunate backgrounds, where, for example, at the loss of the father, on the expiry of the father, the job is given to the student, but then the student is unable to continue the education and complete the degree, because there is a circumstance, trying circumstance, that forces the child to take up the job. But in this particular case, with ABC, I'm just giving an example where, in such a scenario, the student need not think of giving up his or her learning. The learning process can continue parallelly with the job that he takes. So that's the biggest advantage in terms of choosing a pace of learning that ABC brings in. And of course, this gives provision to multiple entry and exit for the student, irrespective of the circumstances, and allows the student to complete the course at the individual pace. So it's a very customized pace of learning that you're talking about. And this also allows horizontal mobility of students across HEIs. So, the student can enroll in multiple HEIs to choose courses of choice and then complete them. This also brings in, a desired learning outcome, because what happens is nothing can restrict the learnability factor as far as the child is concerned. And this particularly now in a very interesting talk on ABC, implementation of ABC by the Honorable Chairman of UGC. He was making a reference because there is always this apprehension in higher education institutions that horizontal mobility would mean that the students would students mobility would mean issues regarding the admissions and loss of admissions and things like that. But what is very important here in ABC is that ABC is important for the institutions credits accumulation also, and the kind of horizontal mobility between higher education institutions is a very small number, and this caters to that small number of advanced learners, learners with enhanced creativity and critical thinking abilities, higher order skills, where sometimes very often we feel that a typical classroom or a typical conventional educational learning space rather can become very limiting for advanced learners. So this is particularly a boon for advanced learners, where a child can enroll in multiple higher education institutions and earn credits that kind of provide food for his or her enhanced critical thinking. This also gives way to institutional collaboration and partnerships, because there can be very healthy, learning platforms that can be given on collaborative model between institutions, and it paves way for a very healthy, learning space for the student. There are diverse options that are available, and this also caters to online education, which UGC allows in terms of the 40%, and it is the in the online options that are beneficial for the student as far as ABC is concerned, because all the credits thus earned can be accumulated in a common platform. And the national credit framework is the one that kind of fixes credits for each milestone, and that actually brings in the kind of standardization of credit framework that is required for ABC to to function better. Because what happens is, when there is an option of choosing courses across institutions, there needs to be some kind of a common playing field, a common platform, a standardized credit framework, and that is provided by the national credit framework, wherein the student and the academic institutions will have certain parameters in terms of the courses across various institutions and disciplines. So that kind of standardizes the entire process of ABC. Okay. Now, like I mentioned earlier, it is 50% of the credits that are earned from a higher education institution will decide on which institution will be the degree awarding institution. Now, there is this confusion that's there in the mind of educators, that when a learner is permitted to accumulate credit across higher education institutions, who would be the degree awarding institution? Now, this is an important catch here, that the student must earn 50% of the credits from one higher education institution. So there is a minimum of 50% credits that he or she needs to earn from one higher education institution. And so that becomes the our degree awarding institution. And the remaining 50%, the student is free to choose from multiple higher education institutions across. Now, the credits that are redeemed once cannot be reused. So once the redemption process of the credit is done, then the credits are all deleted from the bank and they cannot be reused. Like I mentioned before, NEP permits a maximum of 7 years for the break in terms of break in education, break in learning. So the the credits that are earned and stored is for a maximum of 7 years. They have a validity for a maximum of 7 years. And every academic institution will have to bring this, will have to publicize this in terms of the Gazette notification from UGC, and pass this through the academic council and the syndicate, etc., so that this becomes, a valid part of the education, of the learning process. Like I mentioned earlier, it is ABC is required not just for credits earned from other higher education institutions, but ABC is a platform that is mandatory, that is required for all the courses within the higher education institution too. Assume that a student does not take any course from any other institution except the one that he is enrolled into. Even then, ABC is a mandate. ABC is required for the student, wherein a student can have an access to all the credit trails that he or she has been having, even in the same educational institution. So it's a fallacy that it is required only for when a student is moving from one institution to another. ABC is also important for the parent institution also. And from the academic year 23 onwards, we all know that all the students who are joining the first semester need to be registered in the ABC portal, like I mentioned earlier. Admission process will have probably for the higher semester students who are in the higher semester now. From the Controller of Examination Office, we will be initiating the creation of ABC IDs, so that their credits are displayed and accumulated. But from the next academic year onwards, it's mandatory that at the entry level itself, the ABC IDs are shown. So because the use of DigiLocker is going to be important in terms of verifying the qualifying examination of the student who is coming in for admission. So with DigiLocker having, becoming a kind of an important, platform at the time of admission. So going forward, ABC would be important right from admission to the examination. Now, what is the action that all of us as higher education institutions will have to take in order to implement ABC? Now, all higher education institutions, first of all, there are two levels of registrations. First is that we enroll ourselves, we register ourselves as higher education institutions in the ABC portal. Now, the ABC portal registration can happen only after we have registered ourselves as a higher education institution in the NAD portal. So first is the creation of DigiLocker, and then the registration of the higher education institution in the NAD portal. And from the NAD, the registration happens at the ABC portal. Second thing is, it is not enough if we register ourselves as an institution, but very importantly, it is important that the students are made aware of the benefits of ABC and the relevance of ABC, because like I said, it is not just important for a student who desires to accumulate credit from other institutions, but it's also important that he have a credit trail of all the credits that he or she has earned in the parent institution as well. Then we need to hyperlink the ABC portal to be created on the institution website. We need to identify ABC nodal officers who can continuously interact with the UGC personnel to take things forward. We already have, it can be the same nodal officer who is the NAD nodal officer. In fact, if you have the same nodal officer who is managing ABC, it would do a lot of good because they are interrelated. And training of staff members regarding handling of ABC cases is important. And it is mandatory for ABC ID of students in examination form and in admission forms. Like I said, in the next academic year, the student ABC ID needs to be put in the admission forms also. And for the higher semester students, it is kind of mandatory for them to enter the ABC ID, the student ABC ID number. It's a unique ID number, exactly like our Aadhaar number. So every student has one unique ABC ID that needs to go into the examination form. Okay. Now, just to show you a screenshot of how higher education institutions once, there are two images here. The one on the left is, it shows the higher education institutions registered in the NAD portal, and one on the right indicates the registration on the ABC portal. Now, how does ABC work? There is this ABC ID of the student. There is a higher education institution, then mark sheet processing, ABC credit repository, and ABC student account. Now, the higher education institution captures the ABC ID of the student. And then there is that is individually each student becomes a data folder. Each student ABC ID is captured, and for each of the ABC ID, the higher education institution needs to prepare a mark sheet with all the credits. And then the mark sheets are, uploaded on the ABC portal, the repository, and the credits earned are credited to the student's ABC account, so that the student is able to keep track is able to keep. Now, this is how the process of credit student registration and credit transfer happens. Now, first is the process of registration, where the student registers through mobile number through DigiLocker. Now, the registration in DigiLocker can happen with or without the Aadhaar card. Although, this entire process of ABC is a little difficult for students, foreign students. But then NRI students can, register in DigiLocker without the Aadhaar. So first you have the student registration through mobile number in DigiLocker. Then a unique ABC ID is allotted after the ABC ID is created. And this ABC ID is shared with all the higher education institutions where a student wishes to enroll. Then you have the login process, where a student logs in with OTP from the registered mobile number, and the student can access the ABC dashboard. So since it is a distinct, unique number and it is OTP driven, so the student can access the ABC dashboard to keep track of the credit trails that he has got. And the credits mapped to ABC is displayed on the dashboard. So the student can see the credits that he or she has gained and keep track of the credits. And then we have the invitation for transfer of credits. A student selects credits of choice and then initiates transfer by selecting a beneficiary institution. Suppose a student wants to earn some credits from another institution. He sends the invite and initiates the transfer and provides the ABC number even to that institution. Then the process of credit transfer happens, where the higher education institution checks the eligibility of the transfer as per the UGC guidelines. And then the higher education institution either accepts or rejects the credit transfer request partially or fully based on the credit structure. In the sense that if they do not fulfill the eligibility criterion, then it can be put on hold and the request is declined. And also very promptly, there is a reason for both approval and rejection that is provided. Then the student can check the request status, gets the notification of credit transfer, and all the credit trails are maintained and reflected in the student's account, where a student is able to see the credit mapping and the updation of credits from time to time. Okay. Now, just to quickly tell you about quickly take you through the DigiLocker registration process, which is the first step in the creation of ABC. you need to visit the official website of DigiLocker and enter your mobile number, wherein an OTP would be generated. This has to be the registered mobile number, and the OTP would be generated. And once the OTP is created, you click on verify and set up your user name and password. And then the Aadhaar number can be verified, either choosing the OTP option or the fingerprint option, and then you click close. With the Aadhaar number, if the student chooses to select use OTP, then the Aadhaar number needs to be entered and click on the submit button. An OTP would be sent to the Aadhaar registered mobile number and enter the OTP. The student needs to enter the OTP and select the validate OTP button. Once the OTP is successfully validated, the DigiLocker registration process is completed. In case it is fingerprint option, then the student clicks on it and print thumb with the fingerprint device. And if the fingerprints are found to be valid, then it completes the process. In case the student is going for registration without the Aadhaar, then the DigiLocker registration would happen without the Aadhaar number. The student visits the official DigiLocker website and enters the registered mobile number. This can be done through the mobile number without the Aadhaar. Only thing is, the OTP is generated on the registered mobile number, and in the option, the student needs to click don't have Aadhaar option, and then continues from there. So the process is very, very simple. It's a very user-friendly process. Does not take much time at all for them to create DigiLockers and then create the ABC account. Now, these are just the ABC portal also has a very, very user-friendly video tutorial for students to register and create their ABC ID. So these are just snapshots of the the video tutorial from the ABC portal that I have taken, so that it becomes easy for them to see. This is all a part of the video tutorial. Okay. Now, in terms of the practical aspects of implementation, there are two ways that ABC ID's implementation can be done. One is it can be centrally done by, say, for example, a central section like the controller of examination or the registrar's office in the university. It can be centrally done by the backend data in terms of the student admission, SRN number, registration number, Aadhaar number. All that needs to be collected, and the ABC IDs of all those students can be created through the backend operations. But that would mean a huge, onus on one department, wherein any university would find it very difficult, cumbersome to initiate the ABC registrations of all the students. So ideally, it can be done at the individual level by the students, and it can be monitored because it is just a 2-minute job when an individual student registers for his ABC ID. What we have done is we have initiated this process at the school level. So it can be done at the department level or at the school level with one coordinator who is identified as one faculty member who is identified as the coordinator of that particular school. Say, for example, the school of EEE electronics or electronics department, or the arts and humanities department, or the school of performing arts. They will have one coordinator who works as the nodal officer. Through the class teachers, the registration of all the students under ABC can be done. It can be done either by, practically speaking, students are very, very techno savvy. They are much ahead of using, ahead of us in terms of using technology. So they wouldn't find it difficult at all. Only thing is there has to be a good supervising system, monitoring system, to ensure that, for example, the class teacher needs to monitor that all the ABC IDs of his or her class has been created. This can be done, using a simple Google, sheet sent across, wherein the students will be given time to create ABC IDs and then enter their IDs. Or it can also be done at this, at the school level, in terms of identifying one place, maybe a computer lab or something, where slots can be given to the students, and they come in and create the ABC IDs, and the class teacher can write down all the, or make a list of all the ABC IDs. Now, this is going to be mandatory for all the students from the batch 2021 onwards. And this can be done for individual, this method can be followed for individual colleges or individual universities like ours. In case of affiliating universities, either they can opt, they can choose to do it for all the colleges that are affiliated to one university, University X, for example. If it has around 100 affiliating colleges under its university, then the university can choose to create create ABC IDs from the backend for all the affiliating colleges, or it can monitor, like at a smaller level, we have the class teacher doing it for individual classes. This can be decentralized in terms of the university taking on the supervisory role and identifying one nodal officer from each college to ensure, in turn, will probably work through class teachers and ensure that the ABC IDs are created for all the students. Because once the ABC IDs are created, all the marks cards or the grades or the credits accumulated will have to be documented. Now, in conclusion, ABC is definitely a game changer as far as the landscape of higher education is concerned, because from the learner perspective, this is a game changer in terms of democratizing the entire learning space, like I mentioned earlier. And and very importantly, this allows an individual customized pace of completing education for students, and ensures that the dropout rates are less. For for the national bodies, it is important to ensure that the dropout rates are lower. But when you come down to the grassroots level and look at it from the perspective of an individual learner, this gives an individual learner a huge space to complete his or her education at the pace that suits the learner. Like I mentioned, some unfortunate circumstances can force a student to to give up education, but in this case, the student will have 7 years to get back to education and continue with where he has stopped. And very importantly, it allows multi-disciplinary benefits to students, and particularly students of the students learners who are advanced learners, because this can actually take care to ensure that advanced learners can complete courses in the pace that they want to, and very importantly, can take up multiple courses because they have the ability to complete multiple courses. And it also gives them the freedom not to be restricted by a set curriculum. So from all these perspectives, when you see, it's definitely empowering and democratic from the learner perspective. And once the learner becomes the center, once it is learner centric, we all know that automatically the quality of teaching and the quality of teachers will have to go up to cater to this kind of a learner centricity. That's it. That's it from my end. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. I'm sure it was very insightful for all the participants. So shall we move to the question and answer session, ma'am?
Yeah.
So all the audience, I have enabled the unmute option. So if you wish to ask any question or doubts to Beena ma'am, you can either raise your hand or unmute yourself and ask the question, or you can type the question in the chat session. So I notice Himani ma'am has raised hand. So ma'am, you can ask the question.
Yeah, thank you so much, Beena ma'am and sir, for arranging this session. So, ma'am, I have a few set of questions. I'll be just asking you one by one. So in the slide, you said that not just the students, but we as a nodal officer or the institute can also generate the ABC ID for the students. But as far as the process, I know the OTP will be generated and it will be going to the mobile number of the student whose Aadhaar card is associated. So in this case also, do we need to sit with the student and get the OTP from him, or like we can generate the ABC ID without the interference of the student?
Yeah, this particular statement I have taken from I think the technical presentation made from the ABC consultant, where the UGC chairman, Professor Jagdish had, recently had a very good session on ABC. So what that gentleman Ajayji said was that it can be done at the back end, but then for that probably the institutions will have to get in touch with the ABC portal so that the mass ABC IDs can be created.
Okay, ma'am. Got it,
Yeah.
ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. And my second question is that, like by chance, the student has generated the ABC ID, but by mistake he has selected some other college instead of his or her college. So, what are the procedure to make the modifications, ma'am?
Technically, I think technically I'm not too sure of this, but what I can understand from that 50% weightage for higher education institutions is that the student can choose multiple higher education institutions. So there is an option where the student will choose the institution, come back and can choose the institution that he wants to enroll, because the basic criteria is 50% of the credits he needs to earn from one institution. The only thing is, if he chooses two institutions, probably one institution will not have any credit transfers to happen. But there is an option where he can choose the institution.
Okay, ma'am. So I was not able to find that option, but I'll definitely explore it, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay, ma'am. One more thing, like our college comes under Mumbai University. Okay. So in the drop-down list, our college name was not there. It was University of Mumbai. So all the students. Is that fine, ma'am? So
I think that should be fine, but there is also an option of choosing none.
Okay,
there is an option, under educational institutions. If the institution is not, visible in the drop down, there is an option where the student can choose none option and still go ahead and create.
Okay, but ma'am, if they have selected University of Mumbai, that is fine, and that should not be an issue.
Should be okay. Yeah, should be okay.
Ma'am, one more thing I want to ask, like you were saying that there will be credits that will be given during the tenure of our course. Once the course will be over and you have taken the credits, then the credit count again will be 0. Right, ma'am?
Yes.
So, ma'am, if the student is doing like undergraduation, so his credits will be different for undergraduation. Once he moves to post-graduation, then again his credits will start from 0. Like, I just want to check if my understanding.
Yes. Okay. Because it is for a program. The entire accumulation of credit is for one program. So undergraduation is one program. Once he moves to the post-graduation, that's a new program that he is enrolling for.
Okay. Ma'am, next thing is like we have to upload the certificate of degree of the student. So we are coming under Mumbai University. So do we need to upload the degree, or Mumbai University will be updating the degree for the student?
I think it's the university which will upload the degrees.
Okay, ma'am. And ma'am, like we have a semester-wise results. So will the semester-wise results will also be updated or uploaded, or only the final degree?
Semester-wise results will have to be uploaded. And as far as, the entire ABC is very new for all of us. So only once we do it for 1 year, we will be able to identify and understand how it, how it functions. But from what I understand, individual institutions can upload their semester-wise results in their ABC portal.
Okay, ma'am. So, ma'am, like basically we need to check with Mumbai University, like what decision they are making. Accordingly, they have to move ahead, ma'am.
Yes. Either with Mumbai University or with the UGC directly. Your nodal officer can interact and understand.
Okay, ma'am. And like, ma'am, just one more thing, like just a request, like, ma'am, is it possible to have a WhatsApp group of all the nodal officers? So that will be really helpful, because on daily basis we get some doubts, because this is something new for us. So, ma'am, it will be really helpful.
That's a good idea. Probably we can think of having a WhatsApp group.
Yeah, ma'am. So, ma'am, like, can we drop our phone numbers for the same, if you don't mind, in the chat?
Sure. You can.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Because we have a group of COEs, WhatsApp group of COEs across Indian universities, and it really helps in terms of discussing of all this.
Right.
It's really important.
Yes, yes, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am, and thank you for the patience of answering so many questions. Thank you, ma'am.
No issues. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Himani ma'am. Dr. M. Lokesh sir has raised hand. Sir, you can unmute and ask Beena ma'am your question. Lokesh sir, you can unmute.
Yeah. Can you able to hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yeah, good afternoon. Dr. Beena Madam, thank you very much for the nice presentation. It was very informative.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. I have one basic thing like, say for example, one student has completed 50% of credit from REVA, and another 50 from university. Let us say I'm taking an example of Bangalore University.
Yeah.
And which will be the one awarding the degree?
Yeah, this is also a question that came to my mind also, because the assumption is 50% from one university and 50% from a different set of universities. So if a student chooses 50%, if the division is 50% between two universities, then I think it's very tricky, because even I do not have an answer for that. So we will have to kind of interact with the UGC, ABC portal, and then understand, because this is something that is an intriguing question to us also, to me also. So frankly, I do not have an answer.
Yeah, this is very basic thing, because everyone wants to give the degree. Both the university wants to give the degree.
Yes.
So okay, I do understand that since we are all in the elementary stage, it's difficult to answer.
It's as new to me as much as it is to all of us. So I think these are issues that all of us need to understand.
Thank you.
Yes,
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Miss Reshmi Parkhi has raised hand. Reshmi ma'am, you can ask Beena ma'am your question.
Hello?
Hello.
Audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. So my question is actually already, sir, asked about that 50-50%.
Yeah.
And the second, one more question is that if the student's Aadhaar number and mobile number is not connected, still they can register on ABC?
No,
It
the
is not
student
linked.
must have at least, without Aadhaar it is possible, but without registered mobile number it's not possible.
Achha, so without Aadhaar card they can register, right?
Yes. Without Aadhaar card, registration can be done, but
Okay.
without mobile number it cannot be done. The student needs to have a registered mobile number. With or without Aadhaar, both options are available.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay. Now, Mr. Sandeep has raised hand. Sandeep sir, you can ask your question. You can unmute and ask Beena ma'am.
Hi, ma'am. So my question is,
Hello. Hello.
Hello, sir, Sandeep sir, you are on mute. Could you please Hello, sir.
hello. Sorry, sir.
Yes, sir. Okay.
Hello, ma'am. My question is,
Yeah.
what is the difference or changes we will have to adopt in our usual workflow to implement ABC?
I do not see a major change in terms of the workflow, because what happens is with automation in the examination section being there for most universities, the same software team which handles that can actually cater to the the work of ABC. And in terms of the workflow, it is only the accumulation of credit which needs to happen at a given time. So the semester time is fixed even for the accumulation of credit, irrespective of whichever university that he or she takes it. So in terms of the workflow, there is no major difference. This the automation team can handle the ABC portal also. Hello.
Hello, sir. Okay. Mr. Akshay P. Siddharthan has raised his hand. Mr. Akshay, you can unmute yourself and ask your question to him.
Hello, ma'am. Good
Hello,
afternoon.
sir. Yeah. Good afternoon.
Ma'am, the session was very informative. So my doubt is that so we have various technological platforms like Linways, right? So like in implementing ABC, what role does like platforms like Linways do?
Yeah. Um, Linways or any other technological platform, we have seen that the entire processing of examination in the last few years has undergone a sea change from the manual ledger entries that we used to have. Most universities have now moved over because particularly with with the outcome based education that has come in, there is this huge integration of technology that is required, which is also the near mandate as far as accreditation bodies are concerned. Whether it is be it NAC or the NIRF or the NBA accreditation, any of these accreditations, the focal point is in terms of automation. So when we look at ABC also, just as outcome mapping and outcome attainment, the use of technology actually enhances the speed, and the accuracy of this kind of a process. So they can the technological platform can actually customize in such a way. For example, I was just thinking of this, that if we have software developed in such a way that, for example, in one particular class, say the first year BTech, all the sections, if we have the ABC ID numbers of individual students created on an Excel sheet, if that entire thing can just be transported, and then using technology, their individual credits can be transferred. So it saves us a lot of those manual interventions in terms of the humongous process that we have in terms of credit accumulation and credit transfers. So definitely, I would say that technology would, technological platform need to devise things to help us, because we are moving more and more towards automation. So I think people like Linways have a huge responsibility in terms of creating platforms like this to ease, the manual work.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, we received one question from Ms. Preeta Maipedi in the chat. So Preeta ma'am has asked, "Good afternoon, madam. Can we get credits to already completed courses?"
No. This is applicable only for 21 batch onwards. So for the existing higher semesters, we will have to create, not for programs that are already completed.
Okay. Would anyone else love to ask any questions to ma'am? You can either raise the hand or post your question in the chat. Okay, I believe there are no more questions. Beena ma'am, it was really a wonderful presentation, and I'm very sure all the participants must have got a deep insight to the topic. And thank you so much for making it here today despite your health conditions. So thank you so much, ma'am. And thank you everyone who sure, ma'am. Thank you everyone who joined this meeting. And we will be seeing you in our further events and other knowledge series sessions. So till then, we are signing off for now. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you all the audience, and thank you, Linways. Thank you, Adarsh.
Thank you. Thank you.
It was a pleasure. Thank you, Bastin.